man.
Yo, come on,
Greatest thing, you're not dead, brother.
You could get your life.
Ah, you're the greatest thing you have in life, bro.
Yeah, man, that's gold, that man. You have a life.
Yeah, greatest thing you have in life, dog.
Yeah, tell you. I don't tell I turn around for you.
Oh, man, I did it. Now, go people. 1 million for try. I'm going to give everybody like
Yo, what go on? How come it's a come?
Which come on, brother, and I'm light.
Welcome to Jamaica Dancehall Source News and Entertainment with a Buzz. The video that you just watched is of a man that borrowed a vehicle. While he was driving, somebody tried to overtake a line of traffic and almost write him off. If you look at the condition of the vehicle or both vehicles, you would see that this man was lucky to be alive. However, he is lucky to be alive, but he is more ticked off. And if you've ever driven in a Jamaica at any time, you will almost turn from Christian to a cusser in the spur of a moment. Because when you see how these people operate and drive, you have to wonder to yourself if these people depend on some sort of take away themselves or take away mission. And just based on how they operate on the road, you have to wonder to yourself if are some legal mad people this. If them even read the book, if them even understand the road code, if them even think about what they do when they are driving. It is as if they are playing some sort of video game. Every day that you go on the road, whether it is a highway or the regular thoroughfare, on any sort of street in Jamaica, there are a whole bunch of maniacs, like I always say, some mad bats out of hell, and they are trying to either send you to heaven or hell, depending on which one you deserve. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, it is becoming more and more apparent that Jamaica is the epicenter of negligence, irresponsible, bad management, lack of management. 9-day talkers are the people that are always reactive instead of proactive, and sometimes they are not even reactive. We saw that your Security Justice Minister, Dr. Horace Changi, came out and he said, Jamaica is going to be spending billions of dollars in tightening the security to make sure that the residents and citizens of this great nation are safe and secure. One of the areas that it is going to be spending a whole bunch of these billions of dollars on, they are going to be hiring the best workers that money can buy, putting in the resources to get the achieved objective, the results that they need. The JamaicaEye was one of those programs. They even came out, made some big announcements, and asked other persons, business persons, residents to join the network, because with this network we can solve crimes. Well, people, this network was put into play a couple of days ago in a place called Santa Cruz, which is in St. Elizabeth, where a young man, his name is Shamar Bryan, was taken out. He was juk up right in the town center, right under the clock. Persons were saying, well, since the government was bragging that they implemented 75 CCTV that is on the network of the JamaicaEye, this crime should be solved easy like 1, 2, 3. Well, people, it is coming to our attention, based on the word of the Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang himself, that listen, most of these 75 CCTV camera that is hooked up to the network in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, and their adjoining areas, they are not working, they are malfunctioned, they are not properly maintained. So we have to ask the question, then what do you mean they are not maintained? After you spend billions of dollars to implement, put up the program, put up the system, then you are not maintaining it. And by maintaining it, I mean that they are not spending money to get those Wi-Fi services from people like Flow, people like Digicel. So therefore, those bills are due. And you know that whenever those bills are due, the service is going to be disconnected. Not only Digicel, not only Flow, they are not paying the people that are supposed to properly maintain the system, service the system. So pretty much the time in which Mr. Brian was losing his life, when a man knife him up in his chest, there was no recording, there was no evidence. I want you to take a look to what the opposition minister, Mr. Bountin, has to say, Mr. Peter Bountin, as it pertains to the JLP, the JamaicaEye, their incompetence, their negligence. And these are facts, these are not political. Take a look.
This is emblematic of a larger problem with this JLP administration. They are big on announcements, but poor on execution and ongoing maintenance. Frankly, all these systems need routine maintenance, replacement of malfunctioning elements, and periodic upgrades of the whole system. However, it is harder to eat a food from that type of ongoing maintenance expenditure relative to the larger initial capital outlays, which provides lots of opportunity for kickbacks. And it is regrettable that the evidence that could have been provided by the camera in Santa Cruz, which covered the area where 28-year-old Shamar Bryan was fatally stabbed, does not provide any evidence to the police in this case.
Now, people, you heard the story from the minister himself, Dr. Horace Chang, how they were so elated they are going to implement this system and it is going to solve a whole bunch of crimes. Now remember, this is supposed to be the headman that is in charge of security. However, we know that like most of these criminals, they are incompetent, they are not very good managers of anything, including their own lives. Especially the management of the country, Jamaica, that is. You heard what the opposition had to say, and people, this is not political, this is true. Mr. Chang said it himself, the system, the 75 cameras, most of them, probably all of them are out. So it is no lie, it is factual. The fact is that somebody lost their life, and if that camera or that system was up, that person's crime could have easily been solved. You could have traced from right under the clock. You could have traced back from where those 75 cameras stopped that is on the system of the JamaicaEye. So we're talking about a clear case of negligence, incompetence, and mismanagement of the country's funds, the country's security, all at the hands of the person that is supposed to be the top man in our security, Dr. Horace Chang. It cannot get any sorts of worse than that. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news is an update about those 4 individuals that was in a shootout with the police after a robbery and then barricaded themselves inside of a Chinese supermarket in a Spalding. Spalding is in Clarendon. They went to court maybe about a day or so ago. They are Andre Shinyu, known as 3D or Brown Man. The next one, 28-year-old Tony Kelly, known as Poochie. Andre Shinyu is 26. The next one, Romain Dacre, known as Fongo. The next one, last but not least, but maybe the most dangerous. He told the police that his name is Jovan Carnegie. His name is actually Chevon Carnegie, and he's known as Lala in the streets. And just for clarity, if you look at your screen, this picture was taken, screenshot from that infamous video in which they had barricaded themselves and went on live on social media, TikTok to be specific. All of them were charged officially for possession of prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, shooting with intent, wounding with intent, and using a prohibited weapon in commission of a felony of a crime. Now, people, like I said, these are obvious, serious, wicked, gunmen that have been plaguing the place, plaguing Beryllium, known in all sorts of high-profile robbery. But their day has finally come to task. However, I am going to speak about the individual that I told you about in that picture. His name is Chevon Carnegie, known as Lala. Here's the history of Lala. Lala comes from a crime family. His father was a gunman. His father was taken out by the police maybe about a decade or two ago. His mother, it is said, lost her life through the big A, meaning AIDS. Now, based on the police report, they said that all of these individuals, they are from Clarendon. Well, people, guess what? That is not so. Lala is actually from Old Harbor Road, I think 67 or 76, to be specific. Here's the history as it pertains to Lala. Lala have a cousin who is also a criminal element. It is said that Lala and his cousin had a problem. Lala then breed his cousin O'Shane Harrison, girlfriend, and then him burn out O'Shane Harrison house. O'Shane have to take for himself. So all four individuals went to court a day or so ago and they were officially charged. But the police, the justice system, they are wondering, they are pondering. Where did these young men come from? Are they just a couple of lone wolves that come together and decide to pull off some sorts of robbery? Brazen, daring robbery in the middle of the day. The truth and the fact, like I told you before, Lala is from Old Harbor Road. He has been living there since he was a youth, just after his father lost his life, and his mother lost her life through the big AIDS. So he's originally from Old Harbor, not from Clarendon within a stretch of the imagination. Based on the information that I am getting and I am sending out to the police, he is taking orders from one order through a person that is known as Andre Bogle, known as Ryder, in the street. Ryder is the person that gave them the gun. Ryder is more than likely the mastermind for that robbery that was taking place in a Clarendon. So I am going to give you the link as it pertains to Old Harbor. Don't know if you remember a couple of individuals went on a robbery campaign in Old Harbor. However, they chose to rob the wrong person. The owner of that establishment was an inspector of police, and that inspector of police foiled the robbery. There was a young man that was shot up, and he was bawling and begging for his life. And I thought about some people hold him as hostage and put the gun in his hand, and that is how we end up trying to rob them. For some strange sorts of reason, that man was in jail for a couple short months. He was then released on bail. He then beat that case. I guess money talk and BS walk, or the system is just flawed. There was a next incident in a Spanish town in which a group of men tried to rob a police officer. That police officer was armed that early morning in wheel and pop off and him blaze up some can and him take away one of the youths. That person's name was Big H. On that incident or occasion in which Big A lost his life, there's also a gun that was missing, obviously. Everybody left the gun and the police pick up the gun and turn it into the armory. It is said that that same person known as Tuffy that went on that robbery in Old Harbor, he was taken out because it is said that him left him friend and make him friend get killed, and worse, he lost the gun. So just for clarification, Old Harbor robbery, Tuffy get caught up. Spanish Town robbery of the police, Big H get caught up. Tuffy was taken out, them take off Tuffy head and chop him up in a little pieces and dash him away. On all of those occasions, Chevon Carnegie, Lala was there. So people like them say, every day that the bucket goes to the well, one day the bottom is going to drop out. And as far as it seems, even though Lala did not lose his life, he was playing some silly games for a couple of years or decades, and it finally caught up to him. Karma, it is called. More than likely, he is never going to see the light of day unless, of course, the system fumbles the ball. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.